Good afternoon and many thanks for making time to get news as it happens. This is Newsdesk. My name is Boni Tunya.
And my name is Edith Kimani. This afternoon, we will tell you details of what transpired on the Thika Superhighway this morning. We are talking about the skirmishes that erupted between the mechanics and police. Details to follow.
Also, updates on the teachers' strike and the mediation efforts coming from the governments. Are we going to have the first strike under the Jubilee government? That is a question we'll be answering in this particular bulletin.
Welcome to KTN News Desk. Now, business was disrupted along Kirinyaga Road in the city's Grogan area following skirmishes between a group of mechanics and the police.
Now, the mechanics who are in the informal sector arrived at the place of work this morning to find it cordoned off by a heavy contingent of police officers. The mechanics engaged police in running battles that spilled into the neighboring streets in River Road.
The youths lit bonfires as they battled with police who retaliated with tear gas. Several vehicles that were parked along Kirinyaga Road were broken into and looted during the incident.
Most of the shops along the Kirinyaga Road that sell motor vehicle spare parts remained closed for fear of looting. Police also arrested scores of mechanics who had refused to vacate the plot.
The cause of the skirmishes is a disputed plot that is claimed by both the Jamia Mosque and the mechs. Now, the mechanics have been operating on the plot for almost 2 decades uninterrupted. Until 2009, the mechanics engaged police in running battles over the disputed plot after Jamia Mosque came to fence it off.
Then Starehe lawmaker Bishop Margaret Wanjiru intervened and had the mechanics continue occupying the land.
We will have pictures of that story coming your way shortly, so do stay tuned for that. To what Boni Tunya intimated to earlier, the teachers' strike called by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Teachers got off to a rather slow start, with only a few teachers heeding the call and staying away from school.
Now, in some parts of the Western Kenya and Uasin Gishu County, teachers kept away from classroom. Now, this morning, and as the strike failed to take off fully, Kupet's National Governing Council held a meeting and vowed to continue with the strike.
The union is now asking head teachers who are in Mombasa for the annual Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association meeting to return to their schools to manage the effects of the strike. Kupet is demanding 25.5 billion shillings for commuter leave and responsibility allowance, as well as promotion and training of teachers. Parliament will this afternoon debate the 61 billion shilling supplementary budget to unlock funds to finance key government projects. The National Treasury will be seeking amendments to the estimates to increase travel allowances, for example, for former Prime Minister Raila Odinga by 34 million, as well as fuel allocations by 9.6 million shillings. Parliament last week trimmed the allocations for the former PM's office by 2.64 million. Allocations in the supplementary budget have generated controversy. Key among them, the 700 million shillings allocation for the purchase of an office building for retired President Mwai Kibaki. The supplementary budget provisions outside the national covers provisions outside the national budget. If approved by Parliament, the Treasury will be able to access the national coffers to access funds before the current financial year comes to an end on June 30th. Let me now take you to Boni Tunya, who has better details of that story which we had carried earlier on. Tunya?
Right, we'll be revisiting that particular story about the skirmishes that arose as a result of running battles between police and mechanics who operate in the Kirinyaga area, Kirinyaga Road, that is popularly known as Grogan. And we do have new pictures coming from that particular incident this morning. Take a look. Well, do hope that dispute is settled sooner rather than later, as business came to a halt for the better part of the morning. Now, in an effort to defend themselves against rape and physical attack, women in Nyanguru location in Kisii County are taking karate classes. The lessons are being offered by one of the residents here who underwent the training in Japan. Over 30 women in the village are taking the lessons. Here is the story.
Yeah, Kitsamisuki. My can is okay. That's how.
Step by step.
My can is okay. Chudan with UK. My can is okay.
These women from Nyanguru village in Kisii County going through their paces, and with every step a new move is learned.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
This is a daily session of karate training. About 30 women in this village are part of these sessions. They are training to arm themselves with defense skills, be it from rapists or even physical attacks.
Ni kwa vile mambo ya rapists ilikuwa imejaa kwa hii area. Sasa tukaona ni afadhali tukuche tujifunze, tukienda mtoni ndio tutajua vile tutajikinga.
Na nikaona ni vizuri kama sisi wa mama, kwa maana hatuna nguvu zenye zitaweza mwanaume, tukuje tufanye mazoezi ya hii karate, ndio tuone hata tukienda mtoni, hata tukienda kutafuta kuni, tukipatana na hawa wanaume hata tunapambana na wao.
2, 3, hey!
The trainer is a man they call sensei, a Japanese name for a teacher.
2.
His name's Evans Oga, a resident of Kisii who undertook karate training in Japan. He later came back to Kenya and decided to pass on the knowledge to his fellow villagers for a purpose.
Okay.
Among the 30 women, 14 are rape victims. The women say they wish more and more women joined the sessions as cases of rape in the region are on the rise.
Kwangu naona hili jambo kwamba si mbaya. Mimi naona kwamba ni afadhali wanawake wafanye nini? Wajifundishe mazoezi ili kusudi waweze kujikinga na wabakaji.
The trainer says karate for women is more than punching and kicking. It goes far beyond fighting, and it is about forging character and bettering people's lives, more especially the vulnerable in society. Angel Katusia, KTN.
It may look comical, perhaps even animated, but rape sure is no laughing matter. To terror issues in Mombasa, and it's just an update that the wife to suspected terrorist Kasim Omolo, who was killed in an elite security operation yesterday in Kisauni, was this morning charged with 5 counts of being in possession of firearms and explosives. The suspect, Fatma Mohammed Masua, who was arraigned before Mombasa Chief Magistrate Stephen Riech, was charged for being in possession of an AK-47 and a pistol without authority from a firearms officer. She was also charged for being in possession of a total of 212 rounds of ammunition illegally and 2 hand grenades. Police at the coast have stepped up anti-terrorism efforts that have seen 2 people shot dead in the last couple of days. Senate Legal Affairs Committee, led by Busia Senator Amos Wako, this morning held a closed-door session with legal minds to discuss the specifics of the law they want changed to cushion devolution. Now, the senators, who were led by their Speaker Ekwe Othuro in seeking an interpretation from the Supreme Court of the law that was signed by the President, are believed to have a good communication from the President and Deputy President to go slow in their bid to collect 1 million signatures from the public and force a referendum to amend the Constitution. The Senate believes their powers have been clipped and say devolution is in danger if adequate funds are not dispersed to the counties. Sources close to the Senate say already a number of Jubilee senators are distancing themselves from the collection of 1 million signatures after meeting the head of state. We will bring you details of the devolution push and pull in our subsequent bulletins, so please do stay tuned. Right, let me now hand you over to Bonnie Tunya, and he's got news from Eldoret town. Tunya.
Right, let's go to Eldoret, where business and transport along the Kitale-Eldoret road was paralyzed for hours after angry Lugari residents blocked the road to protest the killing of a businessman and police officers by armed gangsters. The protesters carrying placards blocked the ever-busy road for more than 5 hours, insisting that the government must assure them of their security. The incident follows the killing of a businessman who was shot dead at the Nangili Trading Center, while his brother was also shot in the leg. Now, a police officer who was responding to the distress call was also gunned down by the same thugs. Some CCTV cameras installed in one of the supermarkets captured some of the suspects, and the Lugari Deputy Police Boss Gregory Mutiso said the images captured by the CCTV cameras will give them crucial leads in pursuit of the suspects.
As you all know, infrastructure is the key to opening up all the areas in this country for development. And the national government is taking this seriously. And I know you guys, the first thing you are going to ask, so has the pipe has arrived? And I think they will be able to answer that. Besides, of course, the other challenges they are trying to address in terms of making the movement of both goods and services, right from Mombasa all the way to our international border, is easy and cost-effective.
We have identified Eldoret as one of the major bottlenecks along this northern corridor, and you all know in the morning there is no movement. In the evening from 4:30 you cannot move because of the heavy traffic, and therefore we wanted to witness for ourselves. We are aware of the problem. We specifically came here because of the Eldoret bypass, which has taken so long. It was in my docket. And part of what we are doing is consulting with the governor over a few issues on the routing and so on. Then we are proceeding to Maraba, because Maraba also, the border post has some issues which we want to resolve. And there is a team, the other team is waiting for us, the people from customs and other cabinet secretaries who arrived here yesterday. So basically it is a fact-finding mission and to see what quick things we can do.
We've had issues of energy costs being very high, transportation costs becoming extremely high, and a significant number of other bottlenecks, especially in getting goods around the country. So together with my colleague in infrastructure, we've identified the Northern Corridor as one of the biggest bottlenecks of doing business in this country. And so rather than reading reports from officers and being advised on this is the problem and this is the problem, we've opted to take time out to come and see for ourselves.
Right, we do apologize for the mix-up in the clip. That story was actually developments in building the road bypass in Eldoret. But let's now go to Kitale, where business came to a standstill after residents protested over the killing of a businessman and his brother and a police officer who attempted to address the situation. And here are the details.
Jamini Kenya ametoa pesa. Unamua? Ametoa ya. Hiyo inaenda ile
That clip showing CCTV surveillance of insecurity in Kitale, and would you believe me if I told you it was just 20 seconds? That's how long or how short it takes for a crime to be conducted in this country. Away from matters of insecurity, we move to alcoholism, and if you watch Perspective, you do know that there's an alarming increase in the use of illicit liquor, especially in some parts of the country. And it's for this reason that leaders from Nyeri County have come up with a plan to incorporate the over 1,000 licensed licensed bar owners in the county in coming up with regulations that will control the production of illegal brews within the county. Speaking in Nyeri at a forum that brought together Kenya Bureau of Standards, public health officials and NACADA, Nyeri Governor Nderito Gachagua said the regulations aim at making it difficult for any individual to sell the illicit brews to the consumers in the county, adding that the licensed bar owners may be required to join the county umbrella body that shall have a single binding code of conduct.
If your bar is caught in that situation where you are doing things that are not allowed, and the law that we are going to set up in the county assembly provides that we take away your license, then we'll take away your license. And when you take away your license, it is actually me who will sign that taking away your license. Therefore, it is unlikely that you can come and compromise me. Because we are taking this very, very seriously, we have been out there, we have told our mothers, we have told our wives, we have told our brothers and our sisters that we must fight this menace.
Right, from bizarre story and insecurity, let's look at some positive news now. The European Union has allocated over £500 million towards disease surveillance in the country.
The donation will be channeled through the Food and Agriculture Organization, or FAO, through the use of digital pen technology in disease surveillance.
This came as the outbreak of African swine flu fever was reported in Murang'a County, with dozens of pigs already affected. According to FAO's Geographical Information Systems Officer, Joseph Matere, the new technology was already spread in 79 districts across the country.
The digital pen technology is a rapid data collection, transmission and processing system, and what it does is use digital forms and normal ballpoint writing process.
Where once the disease is identified, we're using a pen, which basically is just a normal pen with a camera and a Bluetooth. The data is actually entered onto a special form called a dot matrix form, and that form is then used to transmit the essential data to a central database. On this database, we are then able to, through a workflow, we're able to see which diseases have actually broken out in the country and develop a mitigation strategy.